FX presents the Indu Podcast with your host, T. Sterling Watson.
Good morning, Indubians. I'm T. Sterling Watson.
And I'm Courtney.
This is the Indu Podcast, where drive time meets late night talk shows. We aim to entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Thank you for stopping by and pressing play. We're recording live from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive. Courtney, how you doing?
I am literally melting. I live on the surface of the sun, and my AC, like my house's AC, is only just now repaired from being broken. So I'm melting. How are you?
Well, first of all, you have broken the facade that we are recording together, like in the same room, because I am on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, which is not on the surface of the sun.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
But But then again,
truthful. Have to live in my truth.
You do. But I think maybe I could have saved it by saying that, well, yes, I also join you in this heat, because that's why it sounded warped when I was saying my good morning as I do. But yeah, we're doing our topless episode as we are both topless. So,
well, I'm bottomless. No, I'm not topless. I'm bottomless.
Oh, okay.
To be for full, transparency.
And I'm so sorry. Well, Patreon people, they can see us this way. So hint, make sure you get to Patreon, because that's where you can see the live feed. You see me topless and you can see her bottomless. So, there you go. I mean, it's only, for those episodes, I think I might have to raise the tier to like the $20. Yeah. Yeah,
I think you should. I mean, we're talking Indube After Dark or Indube Premium or Indube After Dark Premium. I don't know.
I think for episodes like this would be Indube After Dark Premium, which I know is a long thing to say, but
it's okay.
I mean, we're exposing ourselves in like just raw humanity, but also just seeing bits of us that you don't normally get to, because you got to pay.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I mean, there's that, and then or I just start an Indube OnlyFans, which takes just too much time just to get verified. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll
how would you know that, Sterling?
Because research has shown that not everyone can get one, and they have told me the struggles. And then I was like, well, let me see how difficult it actually is. Because I mean, I'm just looking for different avenues just to make some extra money. So
because gas is astronomical.
America is expensive, as my good friend Michael has said to me, which I'm like, I'm taking this. I might trademark it as another means of income, is like selling T-shirts. I'm going to put it on a T-shirt and just, I don't know, make money from that shirt, because so many people can relate to it. So, so yes, we've got the Indube After Dark Premium. We've got the OnlyFans that does not exist yet. We got T Public. I don't know. I might like jack up some Girl Scouts and sell their cookies for them. So,
I'm down for that.
I mean, hey, just trying to find all the ways to make all the money, because America is expensive. So, but I share with you in the fact of the heat. It's quite warm, not as warm as where you are, because I do know it's like 200 degrees. You showed me a screenshot, and
it was like 250 the last I checked.
Okay,
so,
And then there was like one of those icons of like the sun who was also sweating, which I can't quite understand how that works.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Right. Like, how is the sun oppressed?
Crazy. It's that hot.
Right. Sipping on like a lemonade and having sunglasses. All of these things are fireproof, clearly. So
clearly.
Right. I never understood these things as a child, seeing these pictures of like suns with faces and sunglasses, but here we are.
And it's hot. Like, what? That's such a joke.
I know.
Slap in the face, but whatever. Getting off my soapbox.
As it's burning because it's on fire. So
yeah.
Yes. Have you been catching up on or caught up on your Netflix shows? Some of the shows that have been around, like have you been watching Umbrella Academy?
No, I've actually never seen
No.
Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
Never seen it.
We're going to scoot on past that show then. Have you watched the last episodes of Stranger Things, or as I call it, Stranger Things 4.2?
So no, I started it, but it, I think we kind of touched on it. It was a little dark, like a little darker than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I'm gonna finish it, but it is on hold. It is on pause for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit much for me right now.
When you do watch it, and I strongly recommend you do, because I feel like it really does have a good follow through, like with all the darkness that has been happening, all the strange things. It does lead up to a very epic season finale, if you will.
Okay.
Like you'd be like, oh wow, this is great. Like
good build up. Yes,
the build up is there. Like you're no longer really scared or like freaked out or creeptified.
You say that. I don't know. I'm a bit of a weenie. Haven't we had that discussion?
We have, before? And I feel like I know what your limits are, and that's why I'm saying, like, once you push past the creepiness that has been most of the season, then you'll get to the brighter side. I mean, there's still some like. I'm going to call it like fallout or casualties, if you will, but not something that's creepy. It's just like, oh, that guy or that gal or that poor tree over there, or, fallout. So some real consequences where I'm like, okay. So we know that the next season 5 will be the season finale or the series finale. It's going to be it's going to end in season 5. And it really does set you up for that. But and I mean, not even but it's like, okay, this was a huge like event. Like I understand now why they had to delay these last couple episodes, because the last episode is like 2 hours and some change. Wow. Yeah, it's like almost like a movie, basically. It's very and it's just not something you could just jump into. Yeah. So I'm encouraging you to stick with it. Just get in there. Watch it during like the morning hours. So that way, in case you got a little heebie-jeebies going on, you can work it out and move on through. Because it's good.
I hear you. I trust you, sort of.
I got you, and just let me know, and I will virtually hold your hand just to make sure that you got it. You're gonna make it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like with this season, and I'm actually seeing evidence of it or hearing as evidence of it, because I'm hearing Kate Bush on like regular radio now because of Stranger Things. So wow. Yeah. So if you, dear listener, are unaware and don't even watch the show, then well, you got to start with season 1, work your way up, watch these kids grow up before your eyes. So, literally before our eyes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh but yeah, I need you to watch it, because I mean, we started watching the show together, like in real time, in person. So yeah, I'm a member. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though we got creeped out as it started getting dark, like literally dark outside and dark in the show. I'm like, okay, yep, all right, that happened. That happened. Ouch. All the lights will be on now. So yeah. Another thing, this is not TV related, but now you and I can both say that we've seen Hamilton in person. Yes. Because that happened over the weekend. I can't believe we're just now talking about it, but please tell me everything if I never saw it in person myself. Go. Okay. So first I need to preface with this, because you, for one, might be the only one that can understand that I first listened to Hamilton a little back when I first started working at UConn, which I recently left. So the fact that I kind of got into it and like, oh, wow, this is great, and listening to it over and over again. Then I introduced you to it. And then I would just go back and listen to the album over and over again, then the mixtape. And then it came out on Disney Plus. We got to watch there. And now that I just like breaking news, well, you don't have to do the breaking news thing, but I recently left UConn after 5 years. And during this past weekend, I now see it for myself. So it's as if Hamilton has come full circle for me. That's kind of cool. Yes. That's really cool, actually. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So wow. I do go get to, I see it Sunday, and I'll probably go even more detail on the Love Blurs podcast, since I went with Ashley and her parents, or my in-laws, and my sister-in-law too, because we went to celebrate her 40th birthday, and her birthday's not till August, but still, hey, they were here in town, so let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we had really some pretty good seats. Like, we were in the orchestra. We got to see just about everything, just a little bit off of like a little bit on the left-hand side, stage right, I guess it's called.
Shoot, I don't know. We need Berto.
Right, we do. But we were just missing just a little bit, but just enough that we could still see that we knew what was happening. And I know Ashley definitely got emotional at some scenes, especially around the end, especially around his Quiet Uptown. I mean, who isn't? And
monster.
Right. You hear a lot of sniffling going on. I sat next to my father-in-law, who fell asleep a couple times, but he does that no matter what is happening, unless it's a really good shoot 'em up type movie. Other than that, he's good. He's going to take a little snooze. So, you know. Yeah.
Is he a Hamilton fan at all?
I don't think he was aware of it ahead of time. Like, not as much as like Ashley and I were. Yeah. So, yeah. We enjoyed it. There were moments that I'm sad that I missed, like when they were doing the Reynolds pamphlet, that whole number, and they're going around asking each other, have you read this? And then apparently, I guess Jefferson had went up to the conductor and like, have you read this? And then the conductor raised up hers. That? No.
What?
No.
Yeah. So you don't even see that on the Disney Plus version. I don't recall, but it may happen. I can't remember, but I know that it that's one of the things I've always known about. And it's just something you just don't know about until you see it in person. And I was looking for it. And in our show, I know I'm commandeering, but in our show,
I knew it was going to happen anyway, because, you know,
sorry, but
no, it's go on.
Well, but in our show, he didn't, what's his name? Jefferson didn't go up to the conductor, or he didn't hand him a sheet. He just, like, the conductor kind of already had one in his hand. Right. I think it's just because of how the stage was set. And like he logistically couldn't bend down and hand him one, but it still happened, and it was wonderful.
Yeah. I missed when that happened, but apparently, the conductor already had one and just lifted it up so everybody saw it. But I was too engrossed in everything else happening on stage that I just missed it. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, there's other little things that you probably would never notice from, like, maybe just listening to the album or even on Disney Plus, where
you can't know.
Right. What's his face? Who wrote the Bill of Rights because they were talking about it's nice to have Washington on your side. And was it Madison? I think it was Madison who came out. He was like, that I wrote. And he turned to look back wherever Hamilton probably was, but just looking just in disdain. But the way he did it, it was just so very funny. Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yes. And I understand that when it's like the traveling show, they really have to make the character almost like their own. Like, yes, you have your template where it's from. Yeah. But then you have to do something to bring a little more or what your own essence to it. So I appreciated that. And once I kind of figured out who was who, because I'm sure as you're so used to the actors that originated the roles. They're like, okay, right. Like, okay, you're a Hamilton, you're a Burr. Okay, gotcha. All right. And I mean, they all did a great job, and it's just a testament to Broadway or theater actors, especially when it comes to musicals, knowing how to sing, dance, act, and project like your voice, even though you all
at the same time.
Right.
Crazy.
And yeah, it's just a crazy thing, and just kudos to all of them. And I'll go ahead and talk about this now. I'll probably talk about it again in Love Blurs, but I recently finished a 2-part podcast about Aaron Burr, and that's from the Dollop podcast. Now, these particular hosts, they're comedians, but they're pretty harsh on like a lot of people. Like I think they're libertarians, so they don't really care. They definitely don't care for Republicans and seem not to care that much about Democrats either. But they were at times jabbed pretty hard at Hamilton, even Miranda, saying how could he had just read this one book that Hamilton's based on and not done more research, which I'm pretty sure he did other research. And
yeah, he did.
And it's hard to be so critical because it's for a musical. So you can't put every fact, you can't make everything, fit. So I'm definitely in defense of Hamilton. Like I know it's not like this is not like perfect. Right. It's not perfect. It can't be. And yeah, I mean, there's even some facts even regarding the duel that nobody even really knows to this day. So yeah. But I get what they're saying. But yeah,
when you take any historical anything and then kind of repurpose it, if sort of, or feature it as a musical, which is for entertainment and I guess a little bit for education. But I mean, every bit of creative endeavor that we do, like the creator has the creative right to kind of take some some creative liberties. And so Lin-Manuel Miranda definitely did that. And, we just have to kind of keep that in mind when it comes to learning about this and, this bit of history and seeing it on the stage and enjoying it for what it is. So I think it's really interesting when folks are super critical of Hamilton, but I guess I'm also in major defense of it because I'm a huge fan. So there we are.
As am I. And I mean, we've seen the same thing happen before when it comes to The Harder They Fall and how they had a lot of characters who are based on real people. Yeah. And
but it wasn't accurate. 100%.
It wasn't accurate at all. Like, yeah, I mean, the characters and what they did maybe were portrayed a little bit, but they just took the real names. And even James Samuel, who directed and wrote it and everything, said, hey, these are real people. You go look into them and see what their real life is all about. So same thing with Hamilton. You do the same thing. Check it out and see that Hamilton wasn't all that great of a guy. Or, maybe Burr was a better person. And it even says in, I think the first song or even the last song that I became the villain of your story, when really like he's out there trying to do some good for the country. But
I mean, that's part of Hamilton. Like the story of it is that Hamilton and Burr kind of had a lot of parallels, and their stories are very similar to one another. They just kind of went about it differently. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about the story is that, in your history books, I'm the villain, but let me tell my side of it. Let me show you from the beginning, and I could go on.
I know. Both of us can. And I'm like, I've got another show we got to get to. So we'll table this because we'll definitely come back to it because there's just more things I would love to just kind of dig into and just kind of just in defense of Hamilton, if you will. And yes, because we are avid fans of just not the story, but also the musical and the artistry of it. But we'll move on. We'll move on because we're going to keep going. And I really know I am kind of just pushing the elephant in the room, like to the side. So we'll just go ahead and attack it because like I'm looking at the time and I had my last day at UConn and I got to say overall, it was pretty anticlimactic. And I mean, I don't know what exactly I was expecting.
That was my next question.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't necessarily expecting like a party per se. I didn't know if like the big boss was going to come out and just like say, hey, thank you for all your hard work, blah, 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 blah. None of that happened. Like I kind of left, not even like, not with a bang and not with a whimper, but just like, peace out and just kind of walked out. And I mean, I clocked out and I told like my manager was like, hey, you can the last 2 hours just put that under personal time because I can't really use that or take whatever's left with me anyway.
Right. And I don't want to be here no more. Did you say that too?
I didn't, but I think he felt it and he probably didn't care enough to, he's like, yeah, whatever, good luck. Goodbye. And that was that. And
wow, okay.
it really did feel kind of like just weird. Like I didn't have anybody to say, hey, I'm leaving, goodbye. And because I kind of did that all week, just kind of saying my goodbyes to people, trying not to get emotional in front of them. But at the warehouse, like, because I had to start my day over there, that was more of my like goodbye celebration, if you will. But it was mostly just like a few people, the people that I've been working with for like the last 5 years, like that being Abby, Tito, Fazal, and Art, because everybody else has since moved on to other places. And, you know, but I spent the most time with them, got to know them the most. And, you know, they're the ones that really kind of, you know, were the ones that seemed to be most sad and solemn to see me leave and didn't want me to leave. They gave me a nice card also expressing, please don't leave. but also happy for me. So it was, you know, and it was. And later on in the show, I'm going to give everybody their dues and their shout outs and just, you know, say thank you and I love you and all that, you know, sappy stuff. But it was, I don't want to say it was like a regular day because it wasn't, but I definitely was trying to get through all of my stuff that I had to do, but also realizing, wow, this is the last time I'm going to have to drag these heavy carts all over the place. Last time I'm going to have to put on scrubs just to go into this area, break open this box and carry this heavy box over. Yeah, it's the last time I'm going to do any of that. And it's not only that, but it's the last time I'm going to have to work what I've been calling a jobby job. Yeah. Which I'd said to somebody, I'm like, wow, jobby job. That's hilarious. I'm like, well, that's kind of what it is. Like, it's just a paycheck. Like, I don't get any passion from this. I tried the best I could to think of this as helping people. And I am, or I was, because I was providing the things that they need to stay alive or, you know, do what they had to do. I had a part in that. But overall, it just wasn't satisfying for me. And it was very tiresome, very laborious. And I didn't want to do it anymore because I'm like, I'm tired of this. And it's just, I want to do what I enjoy doing and not feel like work. I want to actually work something in my career. And the closest I've been is working at WIHS, the radio station, on the weekends, doing the podcast with you and Ashley and just all the production work that I do. But I don't get like full-time pay. I can't. My family, I can't take care of my family with those things at this point. Yes.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. So in past episodes, I was able to talk about the process of like, or not even past episode. I think it's a Patreon exclusive where I talk about the whole from when Michael called me to the interview process to talking about when I was going to have my first day. And today, at the day we are recording, which I'm hopefully going to be able to post this, is the day I had my first day at Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. Yes. And I got to say, I was not expecting that I'd actually make it here because of past interviews that I've had.
Really?
Okay. I honestly, I didn't think I was going to like, I might go like every other place but here, but God looks out for me. That's for sure. I have favor and I made it and I had my first day. I met with my new boss, who's just a great dude, and met with a few other people that I'll be working with. And mostly, I think the three of them, there's probably more people I'll probably be working with, but mostly the three of them. He gave me a tour of the place and it is a huge campus. I'll say that, but it's also very high tech. Okay. So coming close, because I don't know if I should even be telling you this, but but they have technology there that hasn't been seen like anywhere before. So, you know how like we all have like we don't, all of us don't have 4K TVs, but 4K TVs exist.
Yeah.
Yes. So in case you're not familiar with what a 4K TV is, basically the highest of high definition televisions.
Yeah.
They have cameras that are 12K.
What?
I can't even fathom what that really means. Like,
I know, right?
How high def is that? Like,
and why are they holding out on us regular consumers?
Well, I'm going to tell you why, because he told me the reason why.
Oh, okay.
is because they can't there's not TVs that can handle that right now. Like there's streaming services that can't handle it. Like your regular TV can't handle, I guess, a 4K output.
Yeah.
It'll just dumb it down to like 4K or whatever your TV setting is. But whenever the rest of the society catches up, ESPN will already be ready. Like, yeah, we've got that already. We're good.
Wow.
I don't know what else they have, but yeah.
Aren't they $1 billion company? Isn't ESPN like $1 billion, trillion, gazillion dollar company anyway?
They are, and they're also owned by Disney. So.
Oh, right. That's right.
So they got that Disney money.
It's not like they can't afford it.
Oh, no. I mean, if they wanted to, they could go ahead and buy everybody a TV so they can watch their content. Right. But I mean, no, don't do that. Just subscribe to ESPN Plus or Disney Plus or the Disney Plus package, which includes Hulu Plus.
Hulu,
yeah, the bundle. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, and
look at you promoting your new company.
Hey, I mean, I got to, and I don't know if they still do tours. But I got my own tour, but I kind of needed to because I'm going to work there now. So
work there, right?
Right. So yeah, I needed to know where the bathrooms were and the cafeteria was. And I got to say, I thought one of the things I was going to miss from UConn was like the cafeteria, but ESPN's cafeteria, and he let me know that they've downgraded or like scaled down the stuff they were able to offer because of COVID, but still what they have to offer, like I got one of the best Cobb salads I've had in a while, like a long time.
It's better than Chick-fil-A's.
I don't think I've ever had Chick-fil-A's Cobb salad.
What?
I'll put it on the list. I will put it on the list and I will check that out as soon as possible.
You do that.
But they handcrafted this salad that every lettuce leaf had dressing on it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And every like crispy chicken was crispy. And I think the only thing that, I would have done is just cut up the egg a little bit more, but I didn't really care. Just gobble it all down. And I just requested that they hold the red onion. I don't want any of that nonsense, but everything else, it was delicious. Like the cucumbers were crisp and on point. Like I said, I didn't say it, but the tomatoes, they were there. They had a presence that said, we are here and we're going to make your salad. And it did. Like I said, the dressing was on every leaf, every piece of salad. The bacon bits, although they were at first kind of under some lettuce, I guess because they shook it up. I don't know what they did, but I was like, oh yeah, we're here too. I'm like, oh, welcome to the party. And it was just a great salad. Like I was full and I'm like, all right, we're ready to take a nap, but that's fine. Because I had already left by that point because I took it with me when I left. Okay. And shout out to
you didn't, did you?
No, but I wanted to, not only because of the salad, but whenever it's your first day of the job, you kind of go through an orientation. It wasn't even that. They were showing me the stuff that I'm going to be doing. And by the way, my official title is audio continuity coordinator.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes, fancy, very technical. And just to simplify what it is I will be doing, it's basically programming the ads that you hear like on the streaming radio or even just the regular radio too. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing.
Right up your alley. It's what you do anyway.
It is. And I'm excited to like get started, but because like the number one person who does it, he's going to be going on vacation. I'm not going to really be going to get my teeth sunk into that particular task just yet. So I might have to wait another week, but I'll still be there. I'll still be soaking up other information, just like, and Courtney, let me tell you, just walking around the hallways, like I felt, I'm going to admit this on the air. I mean, I've done it before where I am not a sports person. But when it comes to media and broadcasting and seeing the studios like SportsCenter, like you don't even need to know sports to know SportsCenter is like ESPN's number one thing. And being outside the studios to see like this is where the magic happens. And
that's cool.
Then going over to the radio side where I'll be working, and they have not one, not two, not four, not eight, but 9 like studios dedicated just to the audio medium. And we stopped in one of them And I'm like, ooh, look at all the shiny buttons and like all I mean, I was geeking out for real. And my boss was like, yeah, this is one of our older studios. Like, this is the older studio.
Wow.
Like, and then he brought me over to the newer ones, which actually had like cameras that are remote operated from a different building with still on campus.
Oh, wow.
But
wow.
And oh man, it was just like, I just want to push all the buttons and turn on all the things. But the other thing that I really, really like caught the vibe of is just the people that work there enjoy being there and enjoy what they do. And that's been such a huge difference from any of the other places I've worked at, like within my working life. And it was so refreshing just to feel that and just to feel the comfort and to feel like this is where I belong. Like, despite my interest and knowledge of sports, like I feel like I could still fit in here and grow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I felt intimidated by some of the things he showed me. He showed me a screening room, and there's this, basically whenever they have like a game, there are all these computers that are set up all around like all of these screens, and all the people that are in there, their job is to take clips and for the feed so they can do playbacks. They can do stuff for later on live broadcast or whatever. That's what their job is. That scares me. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that's not going to be my job, but that could be later on.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that I could grow to do. And I love being able just to walk around just to see, like, this is where I could go next. Like, I can learn about this. It's right here. And
so you see growth and a future there.
Yes, I definitely do. Like, there's just so much that I can learn, so much I could absorb. And with that, I am undoubtedly going to know sports, whereas right now I don't know that much. But even in what I'm doing or what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be absorbing it too. So it's going to seep in. I'm going to become that person. Whether or not I spew like facts or stats at you, I probably won't. Yeah. But at least I'll know when you mention Tom Brady or somebody that's not as famous as Tom Brady, but I'll know who they are. I'm like, oh yeah, he plays on that team, that team over there with the ball. Yeah, with the ball. Don't they have like a skull for like an emblem or whatever? No, okay, but I'll know those things. I'll know those terms, and yeah. So I'm excited just to be around all the technology and the experience, and like. I even told that to them after like the tour was over and my day was over. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I'm at home here, especially once we got into some of those other studios and stuff. So yeah, it was a great first day. And I knew that a lot of information was being thrown at me, and they were like, it's like, yeah, I know we're overwhelming you. We don't want to give you too much. I'm like, oh no, throw it at me. Like, come on, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Even though it was making me sleepy, but that's how I knew that a lot of information was being processed. And I was I was just excited to be there. So, well, it's, I think you're in the right place at just the right time. And when you're literally among greatness, and you know, it's only, I mean, you are greatness, but of course, once you surround yourself with other greatness, it's going to rub off on you, and it's just going to make you even greater. So I'm excited for you. Thanks. I was excited to tell you, like, I wanted to like call you when I left, but I'm like, nope, I'm going to wait because we're going to be talking later. So you'll get it fresh. And also the podcasters will as well, but they just can't talk, not podcasters, but the listeners, but they can't talk back to me like you can. So yeah, I got you, podcast listeners. So, but hey, I mean, listeners, if you do have a question, by all means, you can ask. And no, I cannot help you get tickets to Disney World or discounts, because apparently if you go to the ESPN store, whatever those prices are already employee discounted, I guess. I don't know. Sure. So, that's what they say. That's what he says, y'all. I don't know. I'll get the truth. Well, because I looked for the store, or I asked about it, and the store that's on campus is currently closed again due to COVID. But he said you can go online and you can get stuff there. And he says, my first year working here, I bought everybody's Christmas gift from ESPN. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. So, Courtney, you better look out. You're going to get some ESPN swag for Christmas. Hey, I'm very excited. I expect that. I'm glad you texted me pictures earlier, because I was going to ask for it. And I would have been real, feeling some type of way had you not, done it on your own accord. And you did. So thank you. But yeah, I absolutely expect
I mean, I know you can't take pictures of the inside. Wink, 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 wink. But, thank you for sending the pictures of the outside.
Well, I will see what I can do because I wanted to take pictures the whole time I was there, but I'm like, well, I'm not a tourist. I'm an employee now, which still I'm still accepting that. Like going back to what I was saying before about a jobby job, and now like this is my career. Like I'm still like deprogramming myself from trying to or having to wake up to go to something that I don't really want to be or something I don't want to do to like, wait, this is my job. And in fact, one of the guys I was talking to today, he was like, yeah, you're kind of like going to be on call now for this particular thing I'm doing. And I told him right then and there, I was like, I'm still trying to adjust to that because I'm thinking he's like, oh, wait, no, I'm not available from 6 to 2. But wait, no, I don't work there anymore. I work here.
Yeah.
So me being on call for something like my job, my actual job, like, okay, yeah, I'm available for whatever. But he's like, it's unlikely that'll happen. But yeah. So I'm still adjusting. Like this is like my actual career now. Like I'm you've done it. You're here. So, right. Like you're hearing me still work it out in my head. Like So I'm just, So that's why I'm a little tripping over myself a little bit mentally. Like, wait, this is my life now. So, and my commute, because that is a question that some people had asked me how my commute is. And it's actually about the same. Like it's still about 15, 20 minutes. So I'm still pretty close. I'm excited about the cafeteria. Like I said, I don't know what the breakfast is going to look like yet. So I'm excited to see maybe Monday morning. So I'll get back to you on that. I'm anticipating goodness. I will be mostly kind of working by myself, but I'm still working as part of a team. That was a question I was asked too. And I don't know all of my team members. I'm pretty sure there's other team members, but I've met like the core people that I'll be working with, such as Justin, Tim, and Phil. So those are the main people I needed to meet with, which I did. Other perks or benefits, I'm not sure of all of those things yet, but in time I'm going to learn them. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to get started, which I kind of technically did. I got a whole bunch of paperwork I need to or registrations I need to do and passwords and all that fun stuff, which I could not do because, hey, doesn't matter where you go, no matter how technologically advanced, they're still going to run into some security issues like, oh, you're not in the system yet. So I don't have my official badge yet. But hopefully that'll be coming soon. And I'm on my way.
You are on your way. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you. It's only going to go up from here.
Yeah, really, seriously. And I'm so excited. Now, I've told people that this episode was going to be titled Blacklisted, and I didn't go into reasons or details why. So I'm going to do that now really quickly. I was told on my last day, like, because you didn't give the full 2-week notice and leaving, now they didn't use the term blacklisted, but that's basically what they mean by saying that I kind of violated that policy of not working the last like full 2 minimum weeks. And because of that, I will no longer be able to work at any state agency or state job, such as what I had before, or anything that's run by the state of Connecticut. So I'm okay with that. Like my supervisor told me that. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right. Because I mean, I'm going to ESPN, so I'm fine. I'm good.
Right.
Yeah. As far as I know, there's not really any state job that I want. There was, but they didn't want me then. So
yeah,
I'm going somewhere where I'm wanted and needed. So there you have it. Although it was funny, and I don't think I told you this, but I think on my last day, I did get called. I did get a phone call from another hospital to do the same exact job, but at a different hospital I applied to. I'm like, wow, this was my last day at UConn.
Oh, wow.
Like, another hospital calls like, you applied for the storekeeper position. Like, I'm going to decline this though, because I got another job. So thank you though. There's a
TikTok I saw today that was, a parody of that, but basically where someone applied to a position 6 years ago and the hiring person or personnel called and was like, hi, you applied for this job 6 years ago and we were wanting to follow up on that. And, there's been a slight increase in the pay. At the time that you applied, it was $6 and it's gone up to $6.10 now. Are you interested? And yeah, it's funny, but yeah, that just, you are, I'm sure that job that you just declined, Sterling, went up 10 to 15 cents. And so now you are missing out.
Yeah. And in fact, I know that it did because we recently, or not, well, not we, but they, because I no longer am affiliated with them, but they recently had a increase in pay. I think maybe $1. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, $1. And I kind of wonder, like, well, would that be enough to make me stay? But not really, when this other job is paying me not double, but close enough to it. So yeah, I'm good. Nice. I'm good. I'm going to move on. Besides, I wouldn't be able to get that job because I had already been blacklisted from working in the state of Connecticut. So they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't. But I told that to some other coworkers and they're like, yeah, I don't think that's true. Because they cited some other people that had left like in similar circumstances, but were able to come back or do other state jobs. And plus like the job market, I guess, is hurting so bad that they are willing to take anybody.
Overlooking it.
Right.
Well, and I bet it's a matter also of it may be policy, but if the hiring personnel does not do their due diligence and look that stuff up, then how will they know? So
I don't know. I'm hoping that I come up like if my name comes up on like some kind of record, or like it's just like a big like black X or something over it, like do not hire. So I'm legit rejected. Well, I feel like it gives me that kind of like bad boy kind of vibe or persona.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, so like if they need to like call in, it's like we need to call in like all forces, including the blacklisted folks, because they were true rebels. They'll get the job done. But then I can turn back and look at them and say, no. And then, so I told the FBI I wasn't going back in, or then the CIA. I'm misquoting Black Dynamite now, but yeah, just to tell them no. I'm like, no, you had me, but you lost me. But
you had me, but you lost me. Famous last words.
Which I didn't have any. I just kind of just left, just walked out. Deuces. And just drove away, and then went to like my little park spot and just kind of decompressed and like just processing the day. Cause again, like I said, it was very lackluster, very like anticlimactic. I'm like, that happened. They asked for their uniforms back, which I only had one, which had been in my backpack for like the last 2 years. Cause I wasn't wearing it. Cause I just wore whatever and put scrubs on top of that. What else did they ask me for? The cell phone that I absolutely hated. They gave us a flip phone that you have to, the T9 texting, meaning you have to just keep pressing 4 to. I hated it. Couldn't wait to give that back. Good Lord. Right. So I gave all of that back. Only one shirt, because that's all I had. I don't know where the other ones are. And if they want the rest of them, just take it out of my last check. I really don't care. So I am done. Just can you hear me? Just
wipe your hands.
Wipe my hands.
Washing your hands.
But yeah, we're just going to move on. I'm going to skip the Black History fact. I do have a good one. I'm going to say his name is Captain Ed Wright. He is still with us. He is a pilot. He was going to be in the running to be one of the first Black astronauts, but because of his, I don't want to say a feud with some guy named Chuck Yeager. I say that jokingly because I actually did a report on him in high school, but he didn't get along. Well, I don't say he didn't get along, but Chuck Yeager, whether it be racism or just the fact that he had to train him or whatever, he didn't like him very much. So he kind of kept him away from other people and having opportunities like being part of the space missions and such. So, but NASA has recently gone to great lengths to honor him, even naming an asteroid after him. And I would say Captain Ed Wright is still living his best life, and he's gone into the arts. He does sculpted works of other Black heroes that aren't always recognized. So one of which I think was recently sent into orbit. I don't know what space vessel. I don't have the article up in front of me, but yeah, I that's who I was going to spotlight or shine a light on today. I didn't play the tune, but that's okay. We're going to move on and go to not recommendations, because I don't have one at the top of my head yet, but moment of gratitude. We'll do that. And yes. I'm going to say I am very grateful for, I'm not going to say his whole name. I don't know if he wants me to or if he would care, but I'm just going to say Michael. Michael, thank you so much for pulling my name from, I guess, LinkedIn, because I am the only person he found within the area that matched the criteria for this position I now have at ESPN. So I thank him for finding me and connecting me with ESPN. And God certainly used him. He used me in just this whole thing. So I just thank God for him. I thank him for what he does. And I'm hoping he continues to help people like me and just help them, do their dream. And, because that's something he likes doing and helping people find that fit or be part of that, do what they want to do. And I'm so grateful for him. What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful for a cool house, and I don't mean stylishly cool. I mean feeling cool, to the skin and being comfortable and not bring up. And I'm very grateful for my house. I think I've mentioned my home over the years during our podcasting, and just because I really am grateful for this house, and the journey to get there was a long one. And even that, I cherish that journey, but I don't know, I just have a very special relationship with my house and what it provides for me and what it enables me and my family to do. And so I'm just very grateful for my house, but also just grateful for a cool house, because fortunately the AC issue has been resolved and we are getting back to normal in terms of indoor comfort.
Good.
And temperature regulation. So I am so grateful for modern science.
Yes. And just guess that person being available to fix that issue.
Thank you, Jesus. And thank you, Cody. Thank you.
And not being stupid expensive. So you can.
Thank you, Cody. Yes.
Survive and live.
We made it. Barely, but we did it.
Do you have any recommendations? I found mine, so at least I found it. But I
don't. I'm still thawing out, or not thawing out. I'm re-solidifying. Yeah. So you go first.
All right, because I was like, what is that?
It's a weird visual. Just don't do it. The reverse of melting, whatever that is.
Whatever that is. See, now you got me thinking what that could be. But okay. I'm going to recommend a single song, which Courtney, you already know, because I sent it to you before. And I think it might have been like a couple days before I was leaving, or the day that I found out that I was leaving. And it is a song called All Good by Sam Henshaw. And it just kind of fit this vibe perfectly of like, hey, I'm going on to bigger and better things. It's all good. What am I stressing? What am I worrying about? It is a vibe. I don't know exactly how old the song is. It might be like 2 or 3 years old, maybe. But I was in the process of my last few days, and I'll get around to it. I'll actually share this playlist, I think, on the Patreon. But I decided to make a playlist based around this song, but similar to a past playlist of all of like the top songs I had listened to in the previous years. So basically just upbeat, feel goodery songs. Most of them are anyway. And just some of my favorite songs of the last couple of years, but kind of all based around all good. And some of them had to do with like leaving or going to better, newer things. And some of it had that vibe, but also just made me feel good. And that's kind of what I listened to the last week. I didn't really listen to too many podcasts. As I kind of just had my feels, like just letting whatever feels I felt go through, but just staying in a good mood. I kind of had to, because if I didn't, I probably would have started breaking down and crying. It's like, oh no, I'm not going to see you anymore. So yeah, I had to keep it together. So but yeah, because good, better things. And as I keep telling you, dear Courtney, that, better things are coming to you too soon. Because I would, as I told you before, I'm going to celebrate just as hard when you start, or not even start, because you already have been getting some of these wins, but at least I think in time I'll be able to actually just hop on a plane and actually celebrate with you in person.
Yay.
Hopefully you won't be on the sun at that point, because I'm not sure I want to go. So it was like,
you don't. It's
right.
Terrible.
But yeah. Now you're just gonna. Did you think of anything, or you're just gonna pass on your recommendation for today?
I think I'm gonna pass today.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you for the opportunity, though.
No problem. Not a problem. So with that said, we're just going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back just to kind of wrap things up. I need to make sure that an ad gets in there to talk about Patreon. And I had recorded one to make sure that I really drove home the importance of Patreon and the stuff that you'll find there, such as the episode that we recorded, not just last week, but the week before, that was supposed to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan. Yeah, that episode never came out. So it's going to be on Patreon. So, yeah.
Yay.
Because, nothing is going to go to waste here.
Nothing.
And, including...
Waste not, want not.
Right. Including the video footage of us either above or below the waist. So we'll see. Yeah. And with that, we'll be right back with the Undo Podcast.
The Undo Podcast.
Hey there, dear listener. I thank you so much for listening and supporting the Undo Podcast, or the Love Blurs Podcast, or hopefully both. I try really hard not to repeat myself on either one, so they are both different enough, but you still get that same nerdy nonsense you love. Well, aside from supporting those projects, I ask that you check out my Patreon for exclusive content only heard there. I have some big news and announcements, and dare I say, tea that'll only spill there, and I don't want you to miss out. So that's patreon.com/Indoob, INDOOB. Thanks for listening to my regular pod, as well as the newest, which is the Love Blurs, LOVEBLERDS. Stay lovely and stay nerdy, henceforth and forevermore. Welcome back to the Undo Podcast, and we are going to do a very special shout out, if you will, because as I've discussed, I left a job after I've been there for like 5 years. So I've and you and I, we've discussed this many a time, how sometimes it's just about the relationships that you have with people that kind of make the job what it is. So I would like to give this time now to just shout out a few people that have made the last 5 years very special, and just say, hey, thank you. I enjoyed working with you. And I also would like, if some of those people who listen to the podcast, which I know that they do, just let them know like that, hey, I said goodbye, or I'm saying, hey, I didn't forget you, because I know most of them probably don't even know I have a podcast. So that's whatever. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm fine. But also just to say, hey, I didn't forget you. I shouted you out. So that's just my request for those people that listen regularly. And but yeah, here is to these lovely people. And most of them, I tried my best to say goodbye, like within that last week. But one person in particular, the person I'm going to start with, I did not get to see. I did not get to tell him goodbye. And that is my good dear friend Juan, who had the best greetings in the morning, because he would see me and he'd be T. And in fact, he's the person, or he's the reason why everybody at UConn calls me T, because he couldn't pronounce my first name, Terrell. So he would call me T. So pretty much everybody else called me T. So just a shout out to Juan, and then Juana, who trained me and then left and came back. Very lovely woman. Lewis, or also known as Ray, who is Belinda's husband. And then there's another Lewis who, ever since I had another coworker who was only there for like maybe a few months, he called him Johnny Bravo. So now I can never get that out of my head. So if you can imagine a Puerto Rican Johnny Bravo, that's Lewis. The other Lewis, who is also known as Ray, he is basically a Puerto Rican Robert Downey Jr. So there you go. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you might crack up hearing that. I have no idea. There's also another person who's actually named Ray, and he is just an awesome, soft-spoken, great. He was never actually my manager, but he did, he approved a few schedules here and there, but he's an awesome guy. He has moved on to a different department, and I hope he's happier and better there. He's a great dude. Randy, who also moved on to a different department and then already got a promotion. So kudos to him. Randy, we discussed a couple of years ago in the podcast, and I think in the episode 2 egg haircut, I think, and I forgot what it was we were talking about, but I do know it's because of him that I am now familiar with crispy, crunchy chicken. I don't know if that's a national brand, but it's all over here in Connecticut and various gas stations. So there you have it. Do you have any out there by any chance?
We don't. I've never heard of that franchise.
It's okay. It's decent. I mean, it's not only in gas stations, but they have little shops set up here and there. One of them I'm convinced is a drug front, but whatever.
Yeah.
There's Johnny. We'll never know. There's Johnny, great guy. He's always just a joy just to see him. I only saw him recently in the mornings, but great dude. The staff that I left behind, like my immediate coworkers, Joanna, Steph, Vincent, Claudio, especially Claudio. Claudia, I hope you're hanging in there. He's taking over my old position, and it's a lot. So yeah, so I'm just like, hope you hang in there, dude. You got this. Antoinette gave me some nice advice before I left. Just like, I'm glad you're doing what you're doing, or doing what you enjoy doing. A lot of people told me this too, but it just felt nice from her coming from that. Debbie, shout out to her. Charlene, who is the nicest, like if you could just see sparkles coming out of people, like rays of sunshine.
It'd be her.
And just joy. Yes, just always like with a smile on her face, just telling you good morning or hello and how was your day, and like she genuinely cares and means it. So only one time I've ever encountered her like not having that good of a day, and I was just like, oh no. So she's one of those people. Like if she's having a bad day, then it's a bad day. Like it's not
ready
good.
To fight. You ready to fight for
like who hurt you? Like I'm not a violent person, but I will go beat them up for you if that makes you feel better. But that's Charlene. And shout out to all the office ladies. I don't know all of your names. I think one of them is Jenna. There's another one. I don't know her name either, but I would see her in the cafeteria. She'd say hi to me and I say hi back. And I felt like she was the only person that she might actually talk to, because there was like some dude that was hitting on her and she just like had no time for him whatsoever. But I'm like, wow. Okay. I mean, because hey, she's an attractive woman, but like, but she'd say hi to me because like I guess she knew me, so it's fine. But hello to you. I'm sorry. And there's actually a handful of people I don't know your name, and that was the also funny thing about it. Running around the hospital halls saying hi to everybody you see almost every day, but you never know what their name is. So,
yeah, well, but I don't know. As long as you had that cordial, that was probably the purpose of your co-workership, is just to be a friendly face and in passing. Right.
And that's actually definitely what these people were. Like they sometimes maybe deep inside, they're like, oh, I hate being here. But, I tried to at least smile and say hello, or they say hello to me and I say hello back, and just make it cordial, like you said. And just like, okay, it's not too terrible. So I'm calling them office ladies, but hopefully they understand, because they travel sometimes in a pack. So, going to go get lunch or a meal or snack, whatever. And oh man, I'll throw Megan in there too, even though she's in the cath lab area. She would sometimes travel with them. And apparently she likes to sing Disney like songs on the radio, or not on the radio, but just in a carpool setting.
In the car.
Yeah. Because I found that out through Shane, who had to get a ride with her once, or I don't know if it's daily. I don't know. I'm like, that's interesting. I never knew, but it fits her personality, because she's a very bubbly, like cheerful person. And yeah. So kudos and happiness and joy. I love these people. Mike Daly, who, and I had to say his whole name because what I didn't know until like 2 days before I was leaving, that he was in the broadcast field and actually going back into it.
Nice.
Like he's worked at several radio stations, done a whole bunch of voiceover stuff, and whatever he does at UConn, he kind of brings that like broadcaster personality or persona when he's on the phone. And I've never actually heard it, but other people walk by and like, who are you talking to? So, but yeah, we had a really good conversation like just before we left. And like, wow, I wish I knew that before. Like, and we could have been, you know, chatting about that, but oh well. But shout out to him anyway and his advice and encouragement. And then these next few people are, I'm going to call warehouse people. And that's only because that's mostly where they worked, where you saw them. But Art, who's a how can I put this? Not an all the time listener, but definitely one that loves to support what I do. And lately we've been just talking about kids and parenting, but just also creatives and how they think, because he's trying to help his son and nurture the things that he wants to do, the things he's pursuing. So there's that, but he's also really interested in what I do and my passions and how I, you know, go about creating them. So I have a lot of interesting and fun conversations with him, but at the same time, like, oh, wow, I have got to finish working because I'm going to get left. And so there's that struggle of like, I want to talk to you, but I can't because I have to work. So yeah, it was difficult.
Like, oh yeah, we are at work right now.
But he's definitely a cool dude. He's a great person to have in your corner, someone to stick up for you. And yeah, just love him. And he's one of those people who always either like has a hat on, some headphones, just looking, you know, down to earth. And if you didn't have a hat on, you just look a little weird. I'm like, dude, you need a hat. Where's your hat? So shout out to Fazal. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say this out loud now, just in case they might play it at the warehouse. But Par Crew for life or Par for life, any of those kind of things, because that'll just make him happy that I didn't forget him. And Par Crew for life. There, I've said it. Nice. And I'll also say that I am not an official like Disney employee, so I cannot help him to bring him to Disney World with me. I'm sorry, but at least I let you know ahead of time. I wasn't going to, you know, string you along like, maybe. But nope, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But again, thank you so much for the donuts and the pastries. My, I guess, going away, like not gift, but like celebration, because they did that for me before I left. So that was nice. And a bunch of people, I'll just say Dave, Billy, Sean, which I think he left already before I left, Cheryl and Tom. All these people I've, you know, see on a regular basis. I know their names. They know me. So, hey, it's been great working with you. And I'll even include Jason. He's a good guy overall. There were times I think when I first started getting to know him that he sometimes just felt like an antagonist, like not an enemy, not a villain, but just someone that would just kind of get under your skin. But sometimes we're all there just trying to get a leg up and just to move around and get the best or get the most out of what we do every day. So, so, you know, he's just looking out for number one. You can't fault him for that. So, you know, so I salute you, Jason, and you moved on to something that you now enjoy. So kudos to you. So moving on to other departments within the hospital, there's the GI section. So that's Michelle and Marisol. You guys or you ladies have been great. And all of you over there, Derek, Eva, or Ava. Either time I say her name, I feel like I keep getting corrected. So I'm not sure if it's Eva or Eva or Ava.
Ava, yeah.
I think it's Ava. And then there's one dude who I've never learned his name, but in my head, he always reminds me of Black Thought, as in the rapper from the Roots, Black Thought. Because anytime he sees me, he's like, you know, good morning, brother. And just like, I feel like he's ready to spit a verse. Like he's just got one. Yeah. He's just got that swagger to him. And I love it. Like it enhances my blackness just to be around him. So I'm like,
all right.
Yeah.
He sounds awesome.
He is that dude. So shout out to him. And he was so excited for me when I told him I was leaving, where I was going. So he's great. Let's see, Don, Andreas, another new person that I never got her name, although she got super excited. And I'm shouting out all the people, the anesthesia techs. But she got so excited when she found out I was leaving. Like she was like, yes, run, get out of here. I'm so happy for you. So she was super excited. Donna didn't get to tell like to his face because we've actually had some really like some conversations just about moving on from UConn or from other places or past places we worked. But he also kind of just asked me one day, like, yo, how do you take care of your lawn? And I'm like, dude, I don't even have a house. So like, I don't have a lawn to tell you how to take care of, because he was just, they're just talking about lawns and whatever. But I just found that conversation just amusing. He just assumed that I had a lawn to take care of. I'm like, I don't.
And he wanted your opinion about it. Which
he did.
Even greater.
Right. There's also Mike, who I think he moved on to the NICU area. But I told him, he was super excited, and he let me know that he had a relative that worked there. I had a handful of people tell me that they knew people that worked there. So, it's a big business. It's a big place. Yeah. So, yeah. And also Miguel, who is retiring next year, but he was going to shake my hand, but he's like, no, I'm going to give you a hug. So he gave me a big hug and almost shed a thug tear when that happened. So wasn't ready for that. Over on the PACU pre-op side, huge shout out to Megan, who wasn't there my last week, but I did text her to let her know I was leaving, and she was super sad, but also super excited for me. I mean, she's another one of those people where I'm so excited to see, because she just has a bubbly personality about her. She's just, two Megans, just both of them just bubbly and happy. But yeah, she's just great and awesome. I don't know if she listens. She does have, I guess, the links, but I will send her this one. But also just saying thank you for being just a great person to work with and a joy to be around. And also like a few parenting advice here and there too, because she's got, I think she said she has 2 boys. So yeah. And she said, hey, you never know, we might run into each other another time. So I'm like, I hope so. But in my mind, I'm hoping not in a hospital, like I need a surgery or something, not in that aspect, hopefully.
Yeah.
And there is a blonde woman that works there too, and I forgot her name. She did tell me, and this was before I knew I was leaving, and I was committing it to memory, and it went away. And I feel so bad, because she is also very nice and has helped me several times, and I'm so sad. So, but she's also awesome. The transport staff. Now, these are the people that I see all the time. These are the people that move patients from like room to room or floor to floor, or even when it's time for them to leave, they're the ones that wheel you like in the wheelchair to the door, to help you get in the car, all that good stuff. They also bring just transporting anything, including cadavers, because that does happen. And when they are transporting, because it's just this very long body shaped box, or like body length. It's just with a cloth over it. I'm like, what's in there? It's like, it's a person that's no longer alive. So, but hey, it could be for science. So it's not necessarily that someone deceased or just recently passed. But I see them all. It's an important
job.
It is.
Transportation,
It truly is. And they have like grueling schedules. They are on their feet all the time, just like I was. And it's like a thankless job. And I thank them for what they do, because it's very important. I mean, all these people, they are very hardworking people. And I feel terrible that the only person in the transport staff, and I feel like I know quite a few of them, but the only one I know is Nanette. So, and she's awesome. She's great. We've had a few fun conversations here and there. Sometimes they're food related, just because. And then there's one guy who reminds me of, or he looks like he could be the brother of like Hank Green or John Green. So he just has that look about him, but he's an awesome dude. He told me his name too, but I forgot what it is. So I feel so bad. There's the FSC staff, where I worked over there for like a year and a half, and probably they may not necessarily remember me. James, who usually works the cafeteria over there, he's an awesome dude. So shout out to him. He knew my order, and I have to tell him anymore. He's like, yep, I got you. And then he just make it. I love that. The linen staff, which I think I mentioned earlier, I really only know Alir, and then everybody knows Chris. Like, and I think you and I've been on the phone with you, and you heard him laughing in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like one of those staples of like, if you work in the basement area and you hear him laughing, that's Chris. So Yeah. And what I recently heard before I left is that this other guy, Junior, who works, I think, in facilities or maintenance, they were calling him his twin, which I disagree, but maybe they're just teasing him, but whatever.
Or maybe they're just like close in like demeanor and or find the same things interesting or funny or something. Maybe. Because I mean, I think I definitely caught them like having conversations before. So, whatever. I mean, everybody talks to him. I didn't talk to him that much because he took his time in the hallway, just walking around these huge carts and like, oh, okay. And normally what he would do, he'd just go to the side and let you pass. So because he was not in any rush, and yeah, he's never going to be. So, but yet he will talk your ear off and let you know I had too much coffee today. So I'm like, dude, that's every day, but whatever. All the people in facilities and maintenance, the decon staff, such as Epi, Evelyn, and Aaron, and all their names happen to be, E names, but here we are. But also awesome people, very stressed out people because they get phone calls nonstop. I almost felt like doing the Hamilton like nonstop, but still they see. There you go. But seriously, they get calls all the time. They are in charge of cleaning the instruments and getting them ready for the next surgery case. And then people are like, hey, we don't have such and such. Can you run and get this? And then they have to go up an elevator and go, oh, it's too much. But I feel your pain. I hear you. You guys are doing great work and doing your best. And Minnie too, because Minnie, she used to work with them. I think she's now in FSC. So shout out to her. She would like to give me a hard time. So I try to give her a hard time back, but it's all in love. Victor is a vendor, and I think one of the few vendors I actually talked to, and he is like the first person who kind of really pushed me to keep applying for ESPN to get in there, and said that I would be a really good fit. So I was really happy that like by the last 2 days, I was able to find him and tell him the good news. And he was so excited for me. I think he may have given me a hug too. And like, wow, I didn't even know we were like friendly like that, but cool. But either way, he was super excited. And I just thank him for his encouragement and for believing in me. Alex, who is one of the managers, not my manager, but he kind of was a little bit. But still, he was there. Awesome dude. He like would walk around the dock just to check on people and have a little small talk with them, just to check in, see how they're doing, how their kids are doing. And that's nice.
Yeah, he was very professional, but also just really down to earth, and just like he looked at you and you had genuine feeling that he was interested and he was really like listening to you. So, and that's I love awesome. That. Yeah. And a very specific memory, and I'll move on, is that he was with me when I was working at the FSC area, and they sent all the managers around to shadow everybody. And he really like took notes to see what it was that I struggled with, what I needed help with. And he actually, came through and helped make things a little easier while I was over there. So I really appreciated that. So, and then there was Adam, who was my manager for the majority of the time I was there. And he's a good guy. He does his best, and he really tries to be everywhere. He is always on his phone because everybody's calling him all the time. So, and I do not like envy his job. I don't think I can do it better because he's already seemed to be stressed enough. So when things had kind of transitioned and we weren't like his, subordinates anymore. I'm hoping maybe helped him, give him a little more time to focus on a lot of the other projects he was working on. And I just hope that things are a little smoother, a little easier. I'm sure with me leaving, that's probably not the case now, but hang in there, Adam. I believe in you. Tito is a huge force. So much I could say about Tito, and he's another person that almost brought me to tears that last day. Because, when we're in the warehouse picking, like he kind of like stopped over and said to me, like, I wish I wasn't here today, because you could feel that he didn't want to say goodbye. He's the guy who trained me how to do the OR, how to pick and all this stuff, and introduced me to a whole bunch of people. And I felt that was the best way to transition like one person in this department to another, because I got to work with him for several weeks before he moved on to another department, which I think eventually he just started working in the warehouse like full time. So, but still a great guy, full of stories, full of history, and just a great person to know. And another person just to have in your side, fight in your corner. He's not anyone to take anybody's BS, and he's not having it. I said, I will not have it. Oh, so yeah, that's him. It's Tito. Sandy, who is, I guess basically my work mother. I showed her the Mother's Day video that I made, and then she adopted me right there on the spot. So also great woman. I thought she did not like me like when she first started working, but she's just, just kind of feeling me out. And then after a while, I was able to tell her a couple jokes, and then I had to remind her, it's like, I'm only joking. That's a joke. And then she would laugh. So it's all good. And so, she's a great person. Then there's Shane, who definitely is my, I guess, former work mother, but just now another mother who's ready to take care of Ken whenever I might need to, but also said she's going to be stalking ESPN and holding up signs and saying, I'm not crazy, but you need to come back. And yeah, so she's also wonderful. I've definitely told stories about her on the podcast previously. Regularly being haunted by things or whatever. So we've got tons of inside jokes, and shout out to them. Love them both. Then of course there's Dan, who I later realized, because I know in the previous thing we talked about, I said he was like an Obi-Wan Kenobi type. And I think something maybe a little easier to process is he's like a coach. So he's definitely one that will pump you up and get you ready to either like start the day or to start this project, or he's there right alongside you as you are going through that tough battle. He is that person. He gave me a big hug the day before because he wasn't there the day that I left. So he's just definitely another one. Great supporter of the podcast, great supporter of what things I do. Like he nearly cheered and danced around his office when I told him, just the process of how things were going from the interview to the getting the job. So all of that. And
awesome.
Yes. Also, like I said, great support of the podcast. And last but not least is Abby, who is my work sister. So I feel like she might have been like maybe the first work fan of the podcast. And she actually bought merch, which she said sent me pictures of, like she had the Food Fight t-shirt on at one point. So she's definitely been, oh wait, why isn't she on this list? Belinda's supposed to be on this list too. So sorry, Belinda. I feel like you are a work auntie in a sense, but she's definitely a, someone I often sought and gave like updates about life, about Ashley. She always asks about Ashley and Ken living in New Britain. And this kind of goes with both Belinda and Abby, because they both, had invested interest in my life and how things were going, as I did with them, like how their kids doing and how, are their kids driving them crazy and all of that stuff. So a number of these people, Abby, Belinda, both Louis-I, I think was Juan there. I don't remember if Juan was there. Juana was there, and Charlene. One night, many years ago, we all went bowling together, and that was like one of the funnest nights that I think I've had, like with a crew of coworkers. And then that night, I felt like that we actually became friends and we actually had bonds. So I tried to at least keep in contact with those people, because they like took me in, they accepted me. Like I had just started kind of working there, and they were like, hey, come on out with us and let's do this. So we never got to do it again, but it's fine. I mean, I still remember that night, and we made plans to try to do it again, but we never did, but it's all good. It's all good. I'm just grateful to be part of that number, part of that crew. So that was my, I guess, I don't know, journey through all of these people. I know I left out a handful of people that even no longer work there, like Keith. Keith was a great guy, but he left I think a year ago or so, or maybe more or less. I don't know. Time is weird. We said time doesn't exist, but it does exist. It's a construct.
Yeah.
We said just before recording.
We just said it. Yeah.
Right. Well, that is all of these lovely people, I thank you so much for helping me these past 5 years. It was an honor to work with many of you. I missed some of you already, and hopefully we get to meet again sometime along the road. Send me a text if you have my number, send me an email, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. And I think that wraps it up for this episode. I made everybody wait, for those that knew about this, this whole list of shout outs and waiting for their name to be called if they were doing that at all. But yeah, that does it for the Endue podcast for this episode. Any last shout outs? I know I had a whole list. Do you have any shout outs?
I don't have any shout outs. I cannot top that wonderful list that you just gave. I don't want to ditto to all the people that you said, because I have been there for part of, a good portion of your journey. And I heard about these people, and it's nice to, hear about them one last time, and, to be part of the process of them getting their flowers for being in your life. So, right. Yeah.
And again, I do apologize to the people that I did not have. I don't know your name. And like, there's some people I actually went up to them and was like, I'm so sorry. I never knew what your name was. And they responded to me, oh, that's fine. People just say hi, and we could just continue to say hi. I'm like, oh, okay then.
I love that.
Well, hi to you too. And I just kind of left it at that, because I'm like, I still don't know what your name is. And they didn't want to give it. So, all right, I'm not going to push it. We'll just keep it moving.
Right.
All right. Well, with no more shout outs and no further ado, and where can people find you if you want to be found?
Oh, the people can find me at IamKHinton on the Twitters.
All right. And you can find me at all things at Endue, and hopefully sooner or later tsterlingwatson.com will be back up and running, because I didn't pay that bill, but it's okay. I'll get to it eventually, because I was thinking about moving it to another hosting site, but I might do that. I might wait to do that later. Anyway, Endue.com is still around, so that's fine. Tell someone you value them, like I did for these 50 plus people. And yes, I counted ahead of time. That's why I didn't tell you the number, because I didn't want to scare you. Live without regrets and live for the folks you love. Please wash your legs, your face, the bottoms of your feet, the undersides of your dishes. Get vaccinated. Wear your mask, because it's still crazy out here, clearly. I've been your benevolent host, T. Sterling Watson. And remember, if the world didn't suck, we'd all fall off henceforth and forevermore, the church said. Amen indeed. Dun, dun, dun. Sorry, I didn't mean to threaten you.
That sounds super threatening.
I know. I'm so sorry I didn't mean that in that way.
Thanks for listening to the Endue podcast, which was recorded from the south side of Wakanda in Little New Indubia on the corner of T'Chaka and MLK Drive, and is part of the Endue network. Want more Endue? Follow on Instagram and Twitter at Endue, and on Facebook at EnduePod. You can contact us and send Ask Endue questions by emailing enduepod@gmail.com. Want to support or donate? Find the T Public Store or become a patron on Patreon, where subscribing gives you perks and extra things from the Endue network. Please subscribe, rate, comment, and share the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, Podbean, and wherever else podcasts are found. And of course, visit Endube.com for all of this and much more. Thank you so much for letting us entertain, enlighten, and provide an auditory escape with knowledge and nonsense. Until next time.
Use your words, Chief. Good boy.
This has been another 3SFX production.